I want to talk more about thoughts and we form the thought in our mind and then we use our voice to give a vibration and a sound to that thought so it can get pushed along to where you want, like what the intention from that thought is. I hope that makes sense. So we think, this is why we need to calm down our minds, spend time in meditation, because you want to control your thoughts. You don't want intrusive thoughts. You don't want negative thoughts popping into your head when you don't want them to be popping into your head, and intruding on your good time, or making your experience in this moment horrible, because the thoughts won't stop. So we have to get control of that, and the way we get control of that is to realize, to remember, to see, to feel, to know that what you think is then created. The thought then it then exists. So automatically your mind's gonna really quickly stop the negative talk, because when you're having those thought processes that you are adding to the flow. You are adding to the it's entering into the waves and the forms and the ebbs and the flows as well. And don't beat up on yourself if you do have negative thoughts, or if you have thoughts that just go round and round. You got to kind of think, well, is replaying this in my head over and over doing me any benefit? I've thought about it enough. I've given it enough of my time. I'm going to move on now. So what we think is created. So all those we think higher thoughts. We think and think more on a humanity level than a me. We're all super important. It's important that we are as different from each other as we can be, and unique and beautiful, and have different perspectives, because it is a multi-dimensional world, and we need the beauty of each one of our lights, and we need to be connecting them, because there's a really big change happening at the moment, and we are the ancestors, and we are building foundations for the future world, for our children's world, and if you can understand the concept that thought is then created, we can make this a really, really awesome world. Think really high, aim really high. What do we want to be as a species? What do we want other beings to consider us to be like? Do you want to be known as the race that is warlike and harms its own people, and cares about looks or monetary values? Would you want a world where they need to give us all of the information that the governments and the higher governments and the whatever's at the top of the food chain, because we are definitely not at the top of the food chain, because we're being taken out. And you need to kind of open your mind to see that what's happening to humanity and what's been happening to humanity for a very long time is that we've been stuck and we're kind of sliding backwards. And if you need any proof of that, then just look at the people's attitudes in the last couple of years have just flipped right back to, you know, back in the slavery days, back in the, you know, I'm a white person and I'm fucking God bullshit. And you know, corseting women because they were moving around too much. You know, yeah, like as a woman, I still feel like a fucking piece of furniture a lot of the time. I think I always will feel that way. You know, how can I be of service to you, sort of thing. But it only broadens to the understanding. There's these things you need to go down to go up. So if what we think is manifested, we can be accessing technologies in a year, 2 years, where we can teleport. I can teleport over to, you know, France or Italy or you know, and come back, and you know, there will be other species, people walking around on our streets and flying in our air. Like, how awesome would that be to go have a coffee and it's other species is there too. That, like, seriously, that is reality. This is not reality. We are so, I don't know why, but somebody doesn't like humanity, and they have they've taken all the technology and they've suppressed us. They put the fluoride in the water for you to drink it. It's a sedating thing. The breads and things are all sedating things, and we're told all this stuff that conflicts with our inner wisdom, and it causes depression and suffering. So it's confusing. It's like being in a really bad relationship. You know, you're hurting me, but I don't understand why you're hurting me, because you're supposed to love me. That's what's going on, except it's on a much higher level than what you're thinking it is. It is right up there with the weird shit. It's really, really bad, and it's one of those things that you don't want to look into because it is so dark and it is heartbreaking. But you need to look into that darkness, and you need to see it for what it is, and then you need to realise you've got the power to change things, and you've got the power to make things happen with what you think and what you speak. You have vibrating waves into the universe. So think really high things. You know, we want no poverty, free food, free heating, free, you know, energy. You know, nobody's paying for water anymore. You know, if you want to go into that other realm where the war is and the separation, it's dark and it's horrible and it doesn't feel right, and that's why so many people are getting triggered and having anxiety and stuff, because it's all so wrong. It doesn't make any sense, and we're trying to logically understand it, and it's just not making any sense, and it's really harming people on so many levels. And I just want to say, it's not our fault, okay? It's not our fault, because we've been programmed. We've been programmed since we were children. Our parents were programmed, our parents' parents were programmed, our children were programmed right under our noses, and they distracted us from it. They're getting further and further away from enjoying this holiday planet we have here, and the beings that want to come here and holiday and not have to worry about being shot out of the sky by ignorant military people. You know, like, what kind of world do you want to live in? What legacy do you want to leave? We can do this. We just need to pass on this energy. We need to pass on this information. Believe it with all of your heart and soul, and your dreams will come true. We can change this entire world. And it's well overdue. So why can't it be that the last 100 years we've just been charging, you know, like batteries sitting there charging in the earth, in the dirt, in the mud, and we've been charging our souls. So we've really roughed it. We've had a really hard time, and now we're going to go into that, just skyrocket up into, you know, a really high level planet. They classify us as level 0 planet. I think they were trying to be polite, that a couple of people called us as level 1, but it's pretty bad here. We really, you know, not living our true purpose, which is why we're so sad, you know. But they're confusing us and trying to pull us away from our soul connection, and that's why this movement is happening so fast now. It's been rolling for a really long time. This peace movement and love movement, because we are all focused on humanity. We're all focused on healing Gaia so she's not sad anymore, because we keep hurting her. Like, and I'm not talking about your plastic bags. Like, the powers that be that own the world, like, who owns the world, and who do you want to own the world? I think it should be humanity, but I'm pretty sure humanity doesn't own it, because of the harm we cause to because why would we harm our own planet? Why we make such a big hole that it will suck the plane out of the sky if the plane goes by the hole? It's terrible. That's the bombs being dropped all the time. That's bad for the environment. That's bad for the planet. The fossil fuels and things being forced upon us, and we're not allowed to have the higher technology that they do have, that is available, that is, you can look it up on the internet. It will be there if you know what to look for. There's, you know, different things available that can take away that, but it would be all free, you see, because it's so, you know, the gravity technology I've been talking about since Egyptian time. It's anti-gravity technology, like it, and nobody, you know, knows what I'm talking about. But I can see that the wave is happening so much now, with more and more people feeling this deep pull. Something's happening, something's shifting, and we got to, like, get together and have a direction on what we're doing. And what we want to do is we want to aim that high. You know, that there's no cancer anymore. There's no, you know, there's a cure to everything. You can regrow your bones, fix your hearing. You know, you don't have to be in pain anymore. You understand that death is not, you know, blackness and everything's gone. You got to be aware and see the synchronicities as they come around, and acknowledge them, and download the code into me, and download the code into me to understand the code. And I've got a mower going off in the background, and before that neighbours were chatting, but I really wanted to sit outside and so you could hear the crickets. And I just wanted to ask before I go if you can think about if you remember hearing any high-pitched noises, either maybe externally or internally, or if it's a vibration in your ears. If you have any sort of like a little bit of a congestion pressure, but not really congested. It's just vibrating up, and because we're multi-dimensional, trans-dimensional, and higher beings communicating with us, and we're communicating with them. I've lost my thoughts. I had to have some muscle relaxants because I was getting a spasm, and the spasm is pretty bad, so I have to take a couple of really strong muscle relaxants for it. And I'd say they're just spasming, because the spasming causes other effects, ripple effects. So, and I'm not going to remember what I was talking about, but I'm sorry that it was cut off. I hope the message came through and is helpful, and when I think of something else that might be helpful, I'll come and tell you. Blessings.